All right, today we're diving into a really fascinating and pretty bold argument from a Shia Islamic perspective. The claim that a prophecy about the 12 Imams isn't just in Islamic texts, but it's actually been hiding in plain sight, inside the Jewish Torah.
So let's just get right to it. The whole thing boils down to this one huge question. Could an ancient Jewish scripture really hold the key to one of the most fundamental beliefs in Shia Islam? It's a huge claim, and the source material we're looking at lays out a very specific step-by-step case for why it believes the answer is yes.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, we've got to go way, way back to a man who is central to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the Prophet Abraham. Because according to this argument, the entire story, the entire divine plan, hinges on his two sons. From this perspective, history basically hits a fork in the road, right here. On one path, you've got Ishmael, the firstborn, the ancestor of the Prophet Muhammad. On the other path, you have Isaac, the secondborn, the ancestor of Moses and Jesus. And the source really stresses that, in its view, Ishmael was the son that Abraham was asked to sacrifice. And that detail is absolutely crucial, so keep it in the back of your mind. Now, the argument goes that this test, being willing to sacrifice his son, wasn't just some trial of faith for Abraham. Nope, it was actually a catalyst. It was like a spiritual promotion that elevated him to a whole new level of authority. To back this up, the source points directly to this verse in the Quran. The idea is that after passing this incredible test, late in his life, God gave Abraham a new title. He was already a prophet, for sure. But this was something more. And that new status is called the Imamate. So what's the difference? Well, a prophet, or a Nabi, is often sent to a specific tribe or a nation. But an Imam, in this view, is a divinely chosen leader for all of humanity. And the very first thing Abraham does after getting this amazing honor, he asks God for this Imamate to continue on through his descendants. Okay, so you're probably thinking, all right, a promise was made, but where is it written down? And where does it say anything about 12 leaders? Well, this is where the argument makes its most direct and controversial move, pointing to a specific verse right in the book of Genesis. And there it is. According to the source, this is the verse. This is God's direct answer to Abraham's prayer. The promise of 12 rulers coming from the line of Ishmael is interpreted here as nothing less than the explicit prophecy of the 12 Shia Imams. But wait, you might say, the texts don't always line up, right? Well, the source has an answer for that. It presents the Quran as a kind of corrector for what it sees as changes or alterations made to the Torah over time. For example, it argues the Torah was changed to make Isaac the sacrificial son, while the Quran clarifies it was always Ishmael. And getting that detail right is seen as the key to unlocking the true meaning of the prophecy. Now, this is where the whole thing jumps from ancient history and lands right in our laps today. Because the argument doesn't just stop with old texts, it connects these prophecies directly to things happening all around us right now. From this viewpoint, many things we take for granted are actually signs of the end times. I mean, think about it. Smartphones that let us see and hear people in the palm of our hand. The global financial system built on interest. Even the rise of groups with black banners like ISIS. All of these are cited as proof that a final prophesied era is unfolding. And this view completely reframes modern geopolitics. The conflicts we see in the Middle East aren't just political, they're seen as the final act of an ancient family drama, a struggle between the descendants of Isaac and the descendants of Ishmael, playing out on the world stage. So, if the world is so deeply divided along these ancient family lines, is there any hope for a resolution? According to this argument, yes, there is. And the answer is found in the very unique, very specific lineage of the final awaited Imam, the Mahdi. Okay, so get this, because this is the absolute linchpin of the whole argument. Through his father, the Mahdi descends from Prophet Muhammad, and therefore from Ishmael. But through his mother, who is said to be a descendant of St. Peter, he also descends from the lineage of Isaac. He's a bridge, literally in his blood. I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. A single figure who is genetically both an Israelite and an Ishmaelite. This dual heritage is presented as the divine masterstroke, the key to his legitimacy.
He isn't just a leader for one group over the other. He's a figure who can, by his very blood, unite the two great feuding branches of Abraham's family and finally fulfill that promise of a leader for all humanity.
So at the end of the day, what we've just walked through is a narrative where ancient scripture isn't just a dusty old history book. It's seen as a living, breathing map for our present and a blueprint for our future. It really leaves you wondering, doesn't it? How much power do these ancient stories still hold in shaping who we are, how our world works, and what we hope for in the years to come?